Welcome to the West Virginia Family Survey training on how to add a one-time or multi-session event as well as their corresponding session. First, navigate to the westvirginiafamilysurvey.org and log in using your individual login and password. You'll click on the grantee data entry and navigate to activity counts. The default month and search dates will default to the current fiscal year and the current month. To search to see if any activities have been entered so far for this month, click Search. There's nothing entered for April just yet, so let's add a new activity. Click on Add New Activity Form, and we choose the date for that activity. So this is for April, so I'll pick today's date. But it could be whatever the date occurred of your event. So if you had an event last week that you were doing documentation for, you could still back enter a date for last week. The event I want to enter is a one-time session. So I'm going to check one-time session, and then I'm going to give it a name. For this particular event, I'm just going to call it a food pantry. I'm going to navigate to activity type and select the appropriate activity type of that list, as well as the corresponding protective factor and the TANF purpose. I can add notes down here too for this given activity. And these notes are just for you. They're not required, but if there's anything you'd like to remember about this particular activity, here's where you would indicate it. So then I would save. Once the activity has been saved, you can add attendance to it. So I need to add a session. Add a session. Again, it wants the date for this. This is a one-time session. There's only one date. So I chose April 15th. I'll choose April 15th here. And then I need to add that session. It will say up here that the session has been added. And now I'm able to add the attendance for my food pantry one-time event. I can do this two ways. I can search for folks that are already listed in the database by checking Add Person from a database. So if you've already completed an intake for a person, you can search for them here. For example, I will search for Johnson. We have a few Johnsons that came up. Jill came to this event. I'm going to select her and click Add. I also want to add Jane that's selected. So I'm going to go back to Add a Person from a database. I'm going to search for Johnson again, and I'm going to add Jane this time. Now I have two people at my event. There is also people that showed up to my event that don't have an intake in this database. So I'm going to go ahead and add them and just straight add them as a person. So Natalie Smith also came to my event, so I'm just going to add her. And she told me that her birthday was 1/05/1985. And I want to try to be as accurate as I can with entering the date of birth, because this is how the system is also going to distinguish between adults and children using their birthday. So I will add her as well. And now I have my attendance added to my session for my one-time event. I'm going to save, and my session has been updated. By clicking on the green bar at the top of the screen, I can navigate back to the main page. To get back to that screen, to see the information I just entered, I can click on Grantee Data Entry. Click on Activity Counts, and again, I'm back to the screen with the current fiscal date and the current month. Only now, it has April listed and the one-time event that I just entered. Entering multi-session events follows a similar process. It's a two-step process. You enter the event itself, and then you add sessions to it. For one-time events, there's only one session, right? It occurs once in that month. For multi-sessions, I might have several occurrences. So I would add an activity form. I would choose a date for the first session that I'm holding in this month. So let's think about play groups this time. So maybe I have a play group that happens every Wednesday. I'm going to choose April 1st because it's the first Wednesday that my play group occurred. I'm going to select multi-session, and then I'm going to name this play group. I'll select the activity type. I'll select the protective factor. And then I'll select the TANF purpose. Again, I can make notes here that might be of interest to me and my agency, but these are not necessarily shared with the state directly. So they're really only, whatever notes you put here are important to you. You don't have to put any notes. But I'm going to add my event. I don't have any notes for this, and my activity has been added. Now I need to add a session for my activity. So I will add that. So again, it wants the session date. So this, my playgroups happen to happen every Wednesday. So my first session was on April 1st, and I'm going to add it. And now, again, I'm going to add my attendance for this session. So I will add, I'm going to search for folks in the database. She comes up. Jane actually came to this play group. I could have multiple folks in here, and I would just continue to add them that way, right? But I also had some people that showed up that weren't in my database again, right? They don't have an intake that's recorded in the database. So I'm just going to add them by name. Sally Jones actually came to this one too. And her birthday, 6/12/2019. And I'm going to add her as well. So now I have an attendance list for my session, for my multi-session. So I will save that one. I want to go back to the activity though, because this is a multiple session activity. I'm going to add the session from last week too. So I'm going to add a session. And this is my playgroup session from last week on 4/8. So I will add that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go add whoever showed up that I already have an intake for. I'm going to search for them here. I'll find them. Jane came to this play group too. Sally Jones also came to this. And I had a third person show up for this one. Jonas's birthday, 8/10/2018. Again, I'm going to save. I can go back to the activity, and I can see all of my sessions start to accumulate for this multi-session event. So it's one event activity and then multiple sessions. You can go back to the beginning screen, go to your data entry. When you go to your activity counts now, April is going to have 2 sessions. It'll have the multi-session event that I started and the one-time session event. I didn't put in today's session for April, but I said this was a weekly thing for my agency. So I need to go and edit it. I already started it. I just want to add to it. So I can go from this screen, I can click on edit. That sends me back here. And now I can add a new session. Thanks for watching.